Well. Mr. David
Raibon.
Raibon. How are you doing today, my brother?
Man, I can't complain. I'm blessed and happy to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. So, for all my listeners, let me just say this. We got the opportunity tonight to interview an incredibly gifted comedian, writer. I'm sure at some point he's done some producing, acting. Hey, this man goes way back, doing a whole lot of different things, man. Listen, we ain't gonna wait till down the line to give you your flowers. We're gonna make sure you have your flowers while you're here with us, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. That's very
For
nice.
everybody that don't know who I'm talking about Mr. David Raibon.
Yes, sir.
That's good, bro.
Hey, man, life is good. 63 is still above ground. No criminal record. I think I done all right.
Yeah, that's what it is. How did it all start, man? Tell us, how did this all begin, man? How did you one day wake up? And I mean, we gonna talk about all the other things, but how did we start the comedian career, man? You tell us how this all began.
Well, like a lot of guys, man, I was that one that wouldn't shut up in school. Wouldn't stop talking, wouldn't stop messing with people. Tagging and joking and whatever. I was that clown. I was a class clown, the proverbial class clown. Church school, elementary school, high school, police academy, everywhere I had a classroom. I had an opportunity to just be silly, man, and be me. I never set out to be a comedian. I always wanted to be an actor, and I just figured stand-up would be a stepping stone into acting. So basically what happened was, I was 84 to 93. I was a police officer in Houston, Texas. So I got the comedy bite when I was basically working in narcotics undercover.
Okay.
In the crack cocaine era. And one of the reasons why I had to leave out of there because I could my lieutenant told me I couldn't be a narc and a comedian. So I had to pick and choose.
Right.
Might get compromised, and which we get compromised all the time because we work in the same area, same city. Eventually, you're gonna run across somebody you didn't put up, and then they go, I know that dude, man. He's a cop. So I had to leave. So I did one show in front of all my buddies, my cop friends at the Laugh Factory. So it's called a Laugh Stop in Houston.
Okay.
And they came out, and I remember I was drunk because I thought you had to be drunk to be funny. Hell, I didn't know. There was no stand-up comedy school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they said, man, you funny. I said, well, I think I'm going to leave. And, man, you ain't that funny, dog. You going to quit? I'm still wondering if I made the right decisions about that because, I did 10 years. I done 10 more. Like my coworkers, I'd have $1 million in my retirement plan. But because of the gift of gab and being a class clown, I got out of it and smart enough because I got into the shootouts that were really, really hairy. I had a guy got the jump on me, point blank at my head, 9mm, didn't go off, went click, click. And my partner shot the car up trying to shoot him, almost shot me.
Wow.
I got a round off and my gun jammed. It was a cluster. Can we cuss on here?
You can cuss, man. Yeah, you do you, baby.
It was a cluster of fucks. A fucking cluster fucker. That's what it was. Long out of that, I left narcotics and I went back to the street where I could do stand up, and I became a field trainer. I trained rookies, and then my last rookie I trained was killed in the line of duty, and they executed his killer 20 years later. At that time, I was in Los Angeles. Left Houston at the police department. Well, before I did that, I had a comedy club. I had a short stint of a comedy club that I owned.
Wow.
With a guy named Sean McDonald and another guy named J. Anthony Brown. And it was basically, initially I just wanted a place to have stand-up because when I was working as a cop, I wandered into a comedy club, used to be called Spellbinders. Let's say an A room, where only, the Seinfelds, those type of people would come through. So I wandered in and I was inquiring about it. And the guy said, yeah, we do stand-up here and, you make X amount of money and you just got to get your stage time. But you got to go somewhere else because they're not going to let you come in here. And they're right. they've been trying to keep the black man out these stages, these big A rooms, and unless we do something massive, it has to be massive. It has to
Right.
be the
Has to be right. Big.
Def
Big.
Comedy Slam. Been involved in a drive-by shooting, and you actually got the shooter, wrestled him to the ground, and told a joke to him before he died. You know, then they'll give you a special. You know, it has to be some amazing shit. You know, like I've done some amazing shit. Like I delivered a baby, you know, but it was a black baby. You know, it wasn't a white baby. It was a white baby, you get a Rolex. Black baby, you get rolled up in the black newspaper. And they name him after you, you know, which is great because, you know, he's a good kid. He got 2 kids of his own. But when I was a cop, it was just crazy, you know. And then so I got out of there, opened up the club. My partners, a couple years in, the landlord wanted to remodel the club, put me out of the business. And my partner's gone because Steve Hartman came and got them. Took him to write his first show, Me and the Boys, which is ABC.
Okay.
And so they're gone. Club's mine. I'm happy. I'm running the club. You know, Beyonce, by the way, was a little girl coming through the amateur night on Thursday night at the Hip Hop Comedy Stop. And a few other artists. I can't remember. I think Ideal might have been one. So it was a nice place where people could get discovered. My partners and I, we actually flew in to Bob Sumner's from HBO Def Comedy Jam. We flew in to Maxine Lewis from Showtime at the Apollo and Lynn Harris Taylor for BET Comic View. Gave them a clipboard and let them look at all the comics that we had in the city. That's how a lot of them got on TV.
Wow.
I want to take it back a little bit in the beginning when you said you was clowning in church. Not you was clowning in church. Was you really cracking jokes in church?
Church school.
Church school?
Yeah, church school. You know, church school. I remember the teacher, her name was Miss Wallace. She was real short, dark skinned, looked like Jane Brown. She talked like that. You better sit your little ass down, boy. Miss Wallace, she with me because this girl stuck me with a pencil. I think I spit on her. I skipped that first part. I spat on her, I believe, and she stabbed me in the hand with a pencil. I had lead in my hand. But I never forget, she whipped the heck out of me. That's back when you could whip a kid. Now you can't even threaten.
Right. Yeah, you can't do all that now.
I substitute teach now, and I threaten to whip their ass every single day. I swear to God, I will get every hair out of your head with the tweezers, one at a time. It take me 400 years. It will be always on one side. Act stupid again. Do it again. Do it again. They be like, Mr. Raibon, yeah, I'm crazy. I went out the other day. One of the sisters had to be in the hallway. She said, I scared the shit out of her. She's like, he Mr. Raibon flipped out. No, these inner city kids need a foot up their ass. Because
you gotta handle them a different way.
Their parents ain't doing it. There's no structure. Right. If there's no structure in the home, then you're going to deal with them. The police are going to deal with them later.
Absolutely.
You know, this whole
There's no question about that.
Yeah, Nick Cannon making all these babies. And yeah, it's cool. No, it ain't, because ain't no daddy there. Right. You can't be a daddy to all these damn kids at the same time. He may have a lot of money. That means that kid that got a lot of money gonna run with the other kids that ain't got shit, ain't gonna get in trouble together because there's no structure in the house.
And they're still separated from each other. Yes,
like D.O. said, like D.O. Hughley put it best. If you don't raise your children, you're gonna have to raise your grandchildren. Because you didn't take care of yours.
Right, no question. What made you go to school? I mean, a school teacher. I mean, you have a very interesting economy, the different things that you've done. How did the school teacher thing come about? I'm curious, man.
It all started in the comedy club, believe it or not. Okay. I was working with D.L. Hughley I used to open for D.L. for 10 years, and I wrote for him. I got my SAG card on his show.
Yeah, favor. Favor a lot.
Yeah. So we were working in Mesa, Arizona, about 15 years ago or so. And I met a girl, and I took her and her sister to meet him backstage after the show. They took me out to eat, dropped me off my hotel, and never saw or heard from her again. Then fast forward about 12 years later, a club in Tucson I had worked at sent me an email saying the headliner had canceled and they had an opening. So I took it. And then I went on LinkedIn and I just saw a cute face. This girl that lived in Buckeye, Arizona. I was like, how far is Buckeye from Tucson, and do you like comedy? She said, I love comedy. It's not that far at all. Do you remember me? Nope. I have no idea. I never seen Then she showed me a picture of her sister. Then I remember, and sister jogged my memory, because you always remember the person that wants you, they ain't trying, the blocker. Let's just say it. You always remember the blocker.
Right.
Once I saw that picture, so we started talking, and then about a year, and then we wound up. I proposed to her on the stage, and on In Vogue stage in Cancun, because I know Rona, and she set it up for us. So I proposed to her in front of about 2,000 people, and then we got married. It was actually 3 years just passed, February 2020.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I was in LA 26 years. After I left Houston, I moved out there for 20. What happened? My club, I didn't finish that part. My club closed. Wife left, dog died, and I drove the BMW to Ken Whitley. and we repoed it at Ken Whitley's house. So anyway, she says like, well, you know what? I don't have any connections in LA, because she's a PhD in education. Her field is education. But if you come here, I can get you a teacher's job. So I came here and I taught at Gila Bend for about a year, which is down south. And then I started subbing because I had more freedom with subbing. That's where I am now. I sub Maricopa Independent School District and George Gervin Prep Academy. The old famous Iceman, George Gervin, has a school.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
San Antonio, all day, baby.
So were you joking with the students too, or was you one of more of them serious teachers? Like
I go both, but I'm cautious because when you joke with me, they think you're your friend. I have to let them know I'm not your friend.
Right.
And they some of the stuff. I mean, and the thing is now I've had a plethora of different schools. You know what I'm saying? I've had these middle schools, middle white schools. I've been with the predominantly Indian Native American schools. I've been to the black schools, all the middle schools, high schools, elementary schools, and I got a chance to see everything. You know what I mean? So it's giving me some material, to say the least. I went to high school the other day. I heard so many F-bombs. I thought I was taping another episode of Def Comedy. I'm like, and they cussing right in front of you. You're like, fuck that shit. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting right here. Don't you even care? Come on, man. And be like, big fucking horse. Why I just can't be a horse or a big horse or a white horse? What makes it so special? There has to be a fucking horse.
Fucking horse.
Did you see the horse fuck? How you know the horse can be fucked? It might not even be a fucking horse. The horse might be celibate. You ever thought about that? It's just a horse. Y'all using these words to describe shit because you have a limited vocabulary because of
absolutely.
They're like, well, you calling me ignorant? Yes. Ignorant means a lack of knowledge. You have a lack of knowledge. You don't know shit. That's why you need to close your mouth and open your ears. That's why you got two ears and one mouth. You put these. You learn some shit. You can't learn that when shit.
I agree.
This goes on.
Because they didn't added new words in the dictionary. No cap. What does that mean? Like I don't even respond to any of that type of stuff.
And this goes on every day. Every day, over and over and over and over. They never learn nothing. But so I kind of got into the education side. And my wife actually has this organization called Hope Key. And it's interrupting the school, the prison pipeline. And we was having a conversation about that, about how these single parent families have kids, usually boys, that they're not doing what they're supposed to do in school. And they get caught up in trouble. If your kids get sent home a couple times, a year or two later, they're going to be in the system one way or the other. Now, if they go to the system, they go to the prison system, they get out, they can't vote. They got bad credit. Now you just destroyed another household, generational. His house, his kids' wife.
Absolutely.
But worse than that, even if you go above and before that, the white men create private prisons for reasons. You put my daddy in jail, what chances I got to be successful? It may happen. I may LeBron James, or I may not. I may try to be one of these dudes hanging out game banking in Chicago because I have no dad. Because you put my dad, granddad in prison. So now
absolutely,
you are creating a circle of income for you.
Right.
And we fall
absolutely done. That's purposely done. And the chances, so you said it might happen. No, the chances is 70-30. I say 80-20 that if I got your daddy, I'm gonna get you too. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing, man. And I love to hear people that speak on that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big component of kind of trying to get in and let them know, try to give them a different direction, because I've been through that life. So if nobody can tell you better than I can explain it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I can show you.
And sometimes you got to be able to communicate with that child. That child has to be able to look at you and be able to identify something about you in his life that want to make him not do the things to wind up in the penitentiary.
And I want to ask you a question too.
And it's an important thing about that is, and we joke about it, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. I'm gonna tell you here that you do not put the fear in God in your child's ass. The justice system will be in his ass instead. I'm just telling you that. And everybody, I don't care how much you love your baby. Your baby love you too, but when he hit them streets with them dudes and they running around and somebody gonna pop the car and he in the back seat, that's unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. That's also a felony, whether you stole it or not, whether you even know it was stolen or not. Because who you hang with, who you become.
Right.
If you don't have nobody at home, but like if you hang out with them people, I'm gonna whip your ass. I'm gonna knock. I don't give a damn what they say. I'm gonna knock all these people out, and I'll put some brand new ones in there. They'll never even fucking know. You don't threaten them like that. They're like, hey, what's the consequences? They're all none. There ain't no consequences. No. And if they go to jail and get out, what you gonna threaten with now? Longer jail? Bigger jail? Dirty jail? A fucking jail?
Right.
What are you gonna do? It's all, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's so
I see you real passionate about that, Dave.
Yeah.
And I see you get worked up about that type shit.
I be so close to getting in trouble because I have a hard time holding it. I have a hard time holding it. And I will say so. I was like a kid the other day, dry snitch. Straight up dry snitch. I said, who got the cell phone? Let's go to the cell phone. Who? Who? You tell me who had the cell phone? I took on my side. Who had the cell phone? I forgot. You forgot. So now we playing games.
Right.
All right. Okay, fine. Go back in there and sit down. Ain't nobody leaving this room until I find who had the cell phones. Finally, they told me. They told me the phone. I said, see that move you made? That's a move that's equivalent to what a female dog is preferred to be called. Ooh, oh, ooh. You ain't hit me. I ain't called you a bitch. I told you what that move you just made. I'm in the office. Yeah, I'm in the office. Listen, this is what I do. I'm a stand-up comic. I'm an actor for 30 fucking years. I almost got a retirement from this shit. I do this right now because I'm bored. When the pandemic hit, with nothing else to do. Right. I moved to Maricopa. Ain't shit out here but cows and shit. Especially cow shit.
So Dave, I want to ask you a quick question. You being a teacher, because me as a child, me growing up, from ages 3 to 7, I was in foster care, and then I really didn't get to see my dad until like 10 years later. I think I was like 25 or 26, and then I didn't really physically get to see my brothers and sisters until like I was like 8 or 9 years old. So going into things like with the kids and the way that you see them, do you think that it starts at home, or do you think that it starts with the influence of their friends and the people that they're around? Do you think it starts from their parents and what they see their parents doing, or what they see that person doing, and then they follow that trend, and then that's what they do?
At home. Sonny, you know it. If I greet your kid in the morning, when he get out, when you dropping your kid off and open that door and I smell some shit that I should be smoking.
Right.
And now we wondering why your kid's selling weed at school.
Right.
And it's almost like, well, how does that stop? Like, how do you change that around from being able to where someone can go out, like teachers can go out? I know back in the day, they used to have teachers going to the parents' houses to actually talk to the actual parents and to talk to the students. I think that they should be able to do that again more, because, it should be more teachers a part of these kids' lives.
You can do that, but the problem is the parents ain't trying to talk to you.
Right.
There should be a line outside the door doing parent-teacher week.
Yeah.
I want to know what the heck is my kid doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Give it to me.
Not involved in activities, nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, they got work, and they can't make it, and then this, that, and the other reason. He doing okay, and I'm saying, and the thing is, as a teacher, you got two ways. You can say, you know what, ain't my child, I don't give a shit, or you can lose sleep and wait and give yourself a stroke worrying about each and every one of them.
Each and every one of them.
And I go back and forth. But I got grandchildren.
Yeah.
I quit the school I was working and went to a more reasonable school. They asked me to come back. I could teach school sub 5 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I drive 45 minutes away to the urban school.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And and so what bothers me a lot of times, because I see it a lot of times, I see it all the time. I don't want to say all the time, but I see it a lot. Where you try to speak to the parents about the things that the child is doing, and the parent want to jump on you for disciplining their child.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a pregnant mama come out there. She was gonna whip my ass because I call her son a moron. Now, I don't recall calling the kid a moron. I was a PE teacher. I remember saying, "Run more, run, run more, run." He said, "No, he wasn't doing track. He was doing exercises." That might have been the day that you took. If you draw a mustache and a goatee and a little part right here on your face with a permanent marker, that's a moron.
That's a moron.
A moron is a knucklehead.
All of them need is
just a knucklehead. It's not. He's not racist. He's not retarded. But you can't say that neither. Because I asked the kid.
It's a moronic act, and your child has done it.
Right.
And will continue on doing it unless somebody steps in and lets him know he's a moron.
Right. But yeah, you want to get mad at me because I called your son a moron.
Right. No question about that.
If the school
wanted you, the cop thing. You know, you came up around us. You're in the hood or whatever. How did you just wake up today and decide to be the police, man?
Man, I'm still trying to figure that shit out.
You out there slanging them tickets, huh?
How do you know? I mean, you're not just the police.
If it wasn't for pictures, I wouldn't even remember being a cop. If I hadn't had pictures and shit, I swear to God, I would lie. I ain't never been. You know, it wasn't all good. You know what I mean?
No, I imagine it wasn't. I
basically was bartending at Benning because I got out of high school. I got a job at Hughes Tool Company. I had to lie. I was 17, had to be 18, but I was 17 when I graduated high school. I lied to get that job. And I was making $35,000 a year at 77.
Wow.
1977.
At what age?
I was 17.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
When I went to the police department, the police academy, $23,000 in 84. 7 years later, $23,000 a year to take a chance of getting shot at. So it wasn't for the money.
Right. Definitely wasn't for the money.
After I knew I was going to get laid off, I went to bartending school. And I became a bartender, and I bartended at Bennigan's in the Galleria and the Rhinestone Wrangler in Houston at night. Big Steve, rest in peace. And Captain Jack, don't do it like that, baby. I did a Prince impersonation, but it was a fun time. But I knew that wasn't going to be it. So I was just basically at that job at bartending, and then I just heard they were hiring. And I said, they ain't gonna hire me. I was too little. I figured I would never get the job, dude. And then I applied and they hired me. Then I got scared and I took my application back and I went to the airport police. Because planes don't shoot at your ass.
Planes don't shoot back.
Yeah. Then I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. So then I changed again. I went back to HPD and I got accepted and I went to police academy and then the whole thing. And I graduated and what 92 was it 80? No, I graduated in 84, got on the streets and just started working, man. And just started seeing a lot of stuff even back then. I just thought it was crazy, you know. I mean, I never forget, I was a rookie. I mean, I was a rookie on training and we chasing a car thief, you know, because they stole cars. They probably still do, but they were stealing cars left and right in Houston. And my trainer was like, you know, you want to get a car thief? I'm like, yeah, because you come out the academy, man. If you're not goosed up, you're not fired up, you ain't gonna have no.
Right, you ain't gonna last.
I ain't fucking with nobody. But in the training program, you got to keep proving that you the man. That you tell me to do it, jump to that window, grab that suspect by his throat, and bring him out. Do it. And I'm gonna show you I'm gonna do it because I'm a real motherfucker. So we chasing this dude, man, and we got on top of the hill over 16 over Maine, and then the dude hit his brakes, and my trainer ran the back up, smashed the back up. My knees all smashed up against the dashboard. He said, "Go get I had to jump out the car and run down that corrugated concrete that goes down the side of the freeway, the whole freeway up, and chase
Yeah.
it all off in this field. And I caught up with him. He was like, "How many I give?" I said, "Yeah, you get this ass whipped." That's just what back there. If I chased you, we're gonna fight, and you might win. I'm not gonna tase you. Taser wasn't invented yet. I'm not gonna shoot you. We're gonna fight. You might win and get away, but we're gonna fight. But I'm tired of motherfuckers, so it ain't gonna be no long fight. I'm gonna follow you, sit on you, and hope they find us. I take him back, to the car, and then this officer, this white officer, so he said, "Man, where your friend at?" He said, "I don't know." He took his gun out and put it at his head. And I just left. I backed up and got in the car.
Wow.
I don't want no parts of this shit. And if I would have said something, I'd have been done. That job gone. So that's you live with shit like that.
Absolutely.
How did
it? I want to go to I'm gonna jump way ahead. Def Comedy.
I could be 3 hours, man. We can go all day.
I know. I get it. Hey, listen, baby. I get it. I was talking to you because you have such an extensive, long thing. You done a whole lot of shit.
And nobody won't talk to me about it.
Right. And I'm talking to you about it.
Forever. They don't
want to keep talking to you about it.
Because
I want to know, and I'm gonna let everybody know, Jack. I've been in your presence before. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the reasons why, man, we having this conversation right now. Moving forward to Def Comedy Jam.
I ain't arrest you. Did I put you in jail?
No, you ain't.
Okay. I don't want no problems. I don't want no trouble here.
Hey, not yet. Anyway,
the cape is gone, dude.
Right. Def Comedy Jam, man. You came up in the heyday of that.
Yeah.
How did that? What was that experience like, man? Tell us a little bit about
being
that.
Being around the comedians and different.
Well, I tell you, the most interesting thing about that, I got a fucking story about everything. You know what I mean? I have to edit. I don't edit as much anymore because I don't care. But I own the club, so I had a opportunity to do Def Jam just because I own the club.
Okay.
So Bob booked me the very first time he came to see all the comics. He booked me, and I went to New York, and I bombed. I bombed so bad. That's when I coined the phrase. I was going to just dig a hole right under the stage and boil it, come up in my bedroom and not be seen again for days because I had never been to really New York like that. I had done the Apollo, and that was just the grace of God that went really great. And that's how I knew that right after the police department, I went to Apollo. So I knew the roar from the laughter was enough to let me know this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But especially for New York. Especially if they let you get off in New York, you all right. You're on your way, baby.
My country ass came out there with, I still remember, I had on a black sweater, stuck down in some sky blue leather pants with black boots. And Joe Torre said, "Man, you better dull them boots up, man. These are my police boots." I was spit shouting. "You better dull them boots, man. They ain't fucking." And I walked out there with my pants, in my shirt, in my pants, my sweater, and somebody said, "Oh no, he didn't." And then I looked at my dude, had an afro this big, and my material said, "Fuck you." Gone. I couldn't think of shit. So that, needless to say, that didn't make it.
Right.
But as far as 2008, I got another chance, and that's when I was able to do what I needed to do. That's the
okay. And I've had the opportunity to be around Bob Sumner. And Bob is kind of funny in his own way.
Yeah.
And so he's a good brother, and a lot of people don't know, man, that Bob has done a lot for the business. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to shout him out.
Yeah, he still
because,
is.
Because you mentioned, and he still do it. Mm-hmm. He still. I mean, I've had I got a funny story with him, but I ain't gonna tell it. It ain't me today. It's you.
And do you have any funny stories with any of the comedians that you came across and doing Def Comedy Jam days?
What's so funny about the Def Comedy Jam relationship is that Bob Sumner's PA, production assistant on Def Comedy Jam, is the writer and producer of the film that I just did. That's on Hulu now.
Wow.
3 ways. And yeah, it's so crazy.
Full circle.
Yeah. So, but I've traveled. listen, Paul Winfield. I'm sorry, Paul Winfield. Good actor. Rodney Winfield was one of my favorite comedians. Yeah, they talk like that. Him and Ronaldo Ray, they had that graggly voice. And I did a tour called the Creative Tour. And when we start way up in like Norfolk, Virginia, and you drive all these states all the way down and it ends up in Atlanta. I did it twice. I did it with Rodney once, and the second time I did it with Mike Epps. And Mike left me. Literally left me. He came in one night about 1 o'clock in the morning and said, "You want to go to Atlanta? Come on." I said, "Dude, I'm asleep. You drunk. We're not finna go to Atlanta right now." And Negro left me. I had to take a bus. No, I can't get you. No, he didn't, because you wouldn't have been here. I had to catch a bus to the last gig. And I was like, wow. And it's so funny now. I've auditioned for his show several times and can't get hired. You should give me one job just for the fuck I want you to give me. Leaving me stranded.
After leaving me, Negro.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't need it. I ain't saying make me no series regular. I ain't gotta be your brother, nigga. But can you home with a little piece of meat on the end and some grits? So I mean, but
how was it with the opportunity that you had to work with Martin Lawrence?
Well, Martin was cool. Martin was really, you know, and I met him a couple of times and talked to him and actually spoke to him. It's so funny because in our First Amendment, they cut. I'm telling a joke about something. They cut to him. He's cracking up. You know, that's all you really want. You know, you just want somebody that just like the shit, and you know they like the shit. That's all you can really ask for.
I know that's right. So let's get to what you're doing now. Let's get to the
movies,
the movies and the comedy and everything. What you doing now? Let's give us a little taste of the movie that you're involved in and what it took to get that done.
Yeah, it's so funny because the movie I actually auditioned on my phone in the conference room at the school that I was teaching in during my lunch break. Because show business is not what people think it is. You know? Right. Everybody's not wealthy in show business. You can Google my net worth, and it's wrong. It's
right?
so wrong. It's not even. They should be sued for lying like that. If I had that much money, I would not be living in Maricopa. I give you that. If I had that much money, I'd own Maricopa. It'd be Raibon Copa. It would be. It'd be Raibon Copa. But this so I auditioned, you know, I have an agent. I still have my agent in LA, my manager in LA, and I got this audition. Came from Zora DeHorta, casting director. And she said, "You sure you don't have a problem with this?" I was like, "Mom, I read through it. I didn't see anything I was doing crazy." And it got close to some crazy, but it was just inferred, but it never really got there. I said, I'm gonna do it. And so I auditioned for it and I got hired to do it. And the thing is, it's shot in LA and I live in Arizona. So the first we did 2 days that I was shooting. I stayed with a relative the first time in Culver City. The second time, I decided I was gonna just drive in. I'm going to drive in from Arizona and go to the set and just wait for my turn. Man, I was so sleepy by the time my turn came at 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't remember my name, let alone my lines.
Right.
So it was rough. So I know that I can never do that again. When your mind's tired, it doesn't function the same.
That's right.
Yeah, it just
function correctly.
You know them, but it's like their thought pattern is sleep. You know, it's on a whole other page, and so that made it kind of tough. But we got through it, and it was very interesting because it's something I never done. You know, that I never had a sex scene. You know, that was the first time I ever had a sex scene, and I thought it would be fun. And play fucking is not fun, Sonya.
No, it's not. It's all scripted, and you gotta go.
It's no fun.
Step by step, stage by stage, frame by frame.
Right, and you got to stop yourself from really thinking what it really is.
Right.
From thinking what it is looking like what it really is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, if it's a love scene, it's a love story with a man and woman, a whole movie. I don't know how they do that, and they go back to their relationship like ain't shit happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was gonna ask, because I'm like, would you be comfortable to actually even doing like a sex scene or even just kissing someone that they or what they tell you?
No.
Like that's not. I just don't know. Crazy.
The director asked me, "Well, I'm doggy styling the actress, right?" He says, "David, you're having fun." I'm like, "No, I'm not.
No,
this is not fun." You know what I mean? And she's a beautiful woman, but this is not fun. So, you know, we got through that. Because I only been married at the time a year and a half. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
this put jeopardy in the household around here, man. I gotta go home and answer some questions and shit.
yeah, and I told him this ain't gonna mess with my marriage, is it? He's like, I don't want. He said, no. You okay, cool.
Because it be looking so real too, like in the movies, and you actually see like the intimacy. They both be naked, and it looks so like, are they actually really having?
And they actually have an intimacy director on set. Oh,
wow.
Are you comfortable? You fine? You okay with the balls being in your face?
And do they make them sign like a clause for that or anything? Like, do they make them?
No,
sign?
it's just talk. You just talk to the director.
You just hit me to something today.
Right.
I didn't never know that there was intimacy directors. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So thank you for.
Everybody's comfortable. You sure you're okay? Right. Is that erection going to bother you? Because we can tell them to put that away. You know, right. and I don't even know if it's even professionally accepted to get an erection when you're acting like you're having sex. But how can you totally commit to the character with people like this? You know what I'm saying? You see the dichotomy. You want to be I'm killing it, but your shit is sitting in your hands like this here, rolled up like a little turd. So, and I've studied acting, you know, and it can get very sensual in acting classes, and it has, you know, when you're on the floor by yourself and everybody's in the stands. I've seen it very sensual, but when you're only meeting with the director, you know, you see the director when you get to set, or you talk to them on the phone, and you cool. That's it. You don't really know where you can go with. Now, if some of these guys are bigger films and bigger budgets and actors with bigger names, and they would actually meet with the director. Let's talk about what we're going to do with your scene. If you have a problem, it's going to be you guys are going to be both butt naked in the water, you know, whatever. And that way you can prep it. We can talk about it, how you feel. You like to be in front of you, is it better from the back of you? Because they have things to cover. It's clear pasties to cover the boobs and to cover the growth area. You can't really see it.
Okay.
Faded.
Right.
You know, so, but they can make it look as real as possible. But you got to be able to commit to that. And then, I mean, I look at some of these guys, these straight guys that play these gay roles. Not that good.
Right.
Right.
This is the gayest. This is the closest to the gayest thing I ever done. Have y'all seen the film?
No, we haven't seen the film.
We actually have it.
But
you have to see the film because I play a Reiki master. A Reiki master. Okay. I cure illnesses with energy removal with my hands.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do some shit with my hands. And I say this is the closest to gayest shit I've ever done in my life.
Hey man, so that's funny as you say that because I actually know I got a good friend that's in the acting, and you probably know of him, Hal Perrineau.
Oh yeah.
And me and Hal grew up together.
What?
And so what you were saying when you saying he had to do that gay scene or that you know, I even asked him, I said, Hal, I know you like a book. Like we grew up together. How did you pull that off? You know what I'm saying? And he just told me it's acting, and he had to kind of study for it. And I just said, well, you're a better man than me.
It's the character. You know, you commit to the character, and it's what the character is doing. It's not what you doing. But you gotta be ready for that. You gotta be mentally prepared for that.
They strong, because I mean,
they got a lot of brilliant gay actors. There's some wonderful gay actors out there that can knock the socks off a gay role.
She played that role, Queen Latifah, and set it off. She played that role.
Yeah. So
it's easy for her.
Okay, we up against some time though, Dave. What we need to be looking for, man? I know you got some comedy things coming up.
Right. A white guy, a Mexican, and a brother.
Guess who's the brother? That's the funny part. I've been working with these cats for over 30 years. You know, like I say, Warren was a comedian that got his start in my club back in the 80s.
Okay.
And John has been in the hood working comedy ever since I've been in LA, and probably before. He's older than I am. So they're my brothers. We're all brothers. And I had some dates. Actually, it was a function that my wife was trying to the fundraiser, and she said, "Let's do a comedy show." And I just said, "Yeah, let me see." So I said, "You know, I would love to do a show with just John and Juan and me." And next thing I know, the poster was made and the deal was made for the venue, which wasn't easy because we've been going back and forth to Harris. Harris is attached to Chin Circle.
Okay.
So we had Harris. First, I've been trying to get comedy in Maricopa for almost 3 years. I'm talking about being out here, but the pandemic slowed it down, and then they had some issues over there, and it's on the reservation, so they really have some strict protocols. So we weren't able to do the comedy shows. And so finally, my wife said, "We're just gonna rent a banquet room." Then we gonna rent a room, and then all of a sudden they said, "Well, it's gonna be a little more for the sound system," and we didn't figure that in the budget. So, but the other place that we tried initially is open now. So now you can, and it's just like a comedy club. They're gonna set up like a comedy club. The flyer gonna be on a jumbotron. So, and Hope Key will be donating the funds, some of the funds to Hope Key organization, which is my wife's nonprofit. So it's educational consulting and educational consultants and advisory is the one that throwing this actually event. Another guy that saw it. Well, I had a date coming up in Atlanta, in Georgia. I just called him and say, "Man, I'd rather just bring my show in there instead of be by myself." And then they bought the show. And a couple other people were interested. The guy in Arkansas was very interested, but can't seem to get him to finish a sentence on the phone or a text message. He was still like, "Hey, what dates you got available? Give me 2 dates, then I don't hear from him again." I got to find, dude, is this a game? Or we trying to do business here? Come on, man. You called me. You said you wanted to bring the show. Why am I chasing you down? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Well, you definitely will see me April 1st.
April Fool's Day, and it's not a joke. I gotta tell people,
Yeah,
April Fool's Day.
we're gonna be in the building. We absolutely gonna support you. We always gonna support Raibon.
And let everybody else know too. It's on Eventbrite. If you want to go to the show and you're in Maricopa, I would took you or Chandler, anywhere. Chandler. I live in Chandler. Excuse me. Go to Eventbrite, and it's April Fool's Comedy Jam. And you'll see our pictures on there and purchase your tickets. $40 for regular, $65 for VIP. And VIP is cool because you're the only people that get your own waitress.
Look at that.
Yep, roped off section, own waitress. Everybody else got to get their shit themselves and sit down. They'll bring it to you in the VIP. You know,
All
and
right.
then say Atlanta, Georgia, we coming. Uptown Comedy Club, we coming at June 2nd and 3rd. We'll see you folks down there, and we can't wait to get there.
Make sure y'all check out his movie as well. You said it's called 3 Ways, right?
3 Ways. A
Netflix.
sex comedy told in 3
ways. Dave, before we go, give everybody, man, your social media sites where they can follow you, you know what I'm saying, and where they can get at you, if possible. Just let them know, man, what it is.
On Twitter is the David Raibon because somebody stole David Raibon.
I know that. I couldn't find the other day, and I had to go to the D instead of the th.
They be ripping people off for their own name, man. Give me my name.
Trademark.
All I want is my name. Get off me, Ike. I just want my name.
Right.
So David Raibon on everything else, just regular name, Raibon. And I look forward to seeing everybody, man. This has been really great. Thank you so much, Sonny and Sangria. I should be great.
Thank you, man. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you soon, man. And you know, tell the wife, continue on doing the different things, because I know this is kind of all, well, not brand new, but this is still in the infancy stage of your marriage. I was there when you told me when you told us the story. So I remember that. Keep doing what you do.
You know, I want to say a prayer to my mom. My mom actually getting ready to go on a plane tonight, go back to Houston. She's in the hospital. She had pneumonia, and they got rid of it. Now it came back, and now it's septic. So I need to go home and see her.
We're gonna send our love to her. Send our love out to her.
Appreciate that.
And so, want to say, man, thanks again. But before we go, man, let me just say this to you, man. May you be blessed in all the things you do every day, and may you prosper in each and everything that you do, each and every day that you do it, my brother. Yeah.
Likewise. Same.
No doubt, baby.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.